This is another 4-player fixed card game which is being played with my subscribers. The purple player is an expert, and the blue and orange players are grandmasters. And from what I see is that the purple player is going for Australia, so let's send this Australian turtle emoji to irritate him. The diplomacy is another part of the game, and judging by the purple player's reaction I screw it up with him immediately. What a nice way to start the game. I have no easy continent to capture, and with the purple player probably being the player who gets a continent first, I will quite likely get targeted and be eliminated first. So it doesn't look too much promising at all. But what I really like is my decision to move my troops to North Africa. Both the orange and blue players intend to go for South America, so they won't be able to get a continent either. Or maybe the blue player didn't want that the orange player would crush his 3 troops in South America, so he added them to it so the orange player would make him the way to move them out to Africa. Who knows? Either way it doesn't matter, as with both of them being stuck in South America and not getting any continent like me, I won't be the only player who would have big chances to get eliminated first. Basically the purple player is the only player who gets a continent soon, and with that it will be up to him which player he decides to target. Though that's possible that the blue player could decide to crush my North African troops. If that happened, then it probably wouldn't be the most ideal situation for me, though for the blue player it might not be too much ideal too, but his position would still be more promising than mine, as he would have chances to capture and hold Africa while I wouldn't be able to get a continent. Either way it would probably be the move which is very favorable for the orange player, as with the blue player moving out from South America he would capture it, and with that would be another player who would be safe to hold a continent like the purple player. So, unless the orange player would be the player who all the purple player decides to target and focus on the most. As you saw the last turn with my North African army, I was pointing out to the blue player's European army, indicating that I would like to move out to that territory. And this was mostly to gain one more turn, as I could have gotten a set at 3 cards, and with me adding those troops from the set on my army, I wouldn't have been afraid of my army getting crushed anymore. But unfortunately I didn't have a set at 3, and with the blue player being the player who has the turn before me, meaning that he will very likely trade in a set before me, I decided to rather not risk, and move my troops from North Africa out, sending him the general thumbs up animation so to potentially increase the chances of potentially having a good diplomacy with him. That I was secretly hoping is that the blue player might move his European troops to either Africa or Asia, so he would waste some troops on the orange player and at the same time would show that he would let me go for Europe. But unfortunately that didn't happen, but I still decided to move my North African army from Africa out for already mentioned reason. That's because the blue player wouldn't crush it. Otherwise, if having a 10 or 8 troop set at 3 cards, I would have preferred to build a big army in North Africa so neither orange nor blue would get South America. And I'm really like that I moved my army out because I pretty much sure the blue player would have crushed it. And as of now I think it could be very likely that the blue player will get eliminated first, with him being the weakest player and with the purple player showing serious intentions to crush some of the blue player's troops. So unless with the blue player capturing Africa the purple player changes his opinion and decides to target me. But alright, with the orange player targeting and using his troops on the blue player as well, I think even being without a continent I will survive and get to the 3-player situation. So that's really good how the things have turned out. I think to build my troops in North Africa in the beginning of the game was a very good move because it prevented the blue and orange players from capturing continents for a few turns, which in the beginning of the game could be very important. Otherwise, if I had let orange and blue players mutually beneficially for them to move each other troops from South America and Africa out, then with them immediately getting those continents while with me being without a continent at all, it would have been the most likely that it would have been me who gets targeted and eliminated as the 4th player. While with me doing that strategy, I guess the situation turned out to be like 50-50 between me and the blue player getting eliminated first. And with the purple player making the decision to use his troops on the blue player rather than on me, now it will be the blue player who gets eliminated first. At this point he is too weak to do anything, and with him wasting some of his troops on orange, I would say that he even did the dirty work for us to eliminate him faster. The orange player was a player who is quite stronger than him, and besides that with an easy continent to hold, so I think that was very unlikely for me and the purple player to change our minds and start targeting the orange player, so unless orange would be the player who only turtles and hoards his troops. But we saw that the orange player was willing to attack blue, so at this case it just made the most sense to continue targeting blue for the most efficient way to get to the 3-player situation. And at the start of my turn I was really considering taking the blue player out by myself instead of manual rolling him, but what I saw is that I only have a 6 troop set, and with the blue player being at 1 card it would have been likely that I would have gotten the same bad set. So to not end up potentially being quite weaker than other players, I decided to do only some manual rolls and leave him for another player. Though as you can see he wasn't taken out by neither orange nor purple, so now I'm going to take him out by myself. Now it's totally safe for me to do so, and it's just the best for all 3 of us to be guaranteed being in the top 3 situation, as otherwise while the blue player looked very weak with him being left alone and getting to board his troops, that was possible that if we attacked each other, for him to end up being a very decent opponent as well again, and with that possibly be another player be eliminated as the 4th player instead of him. Then after taking the blue player out I didn't want to irritate neither purple nor orange, so I decided to fortify my army to Iceland, which I guess makes me very unpredictable of what I want to do, and to be honest I didn't really have any particular plan with that, but I thought if I leave my troops next to the purple's Australian army, then it would obviously irritate him, and if I had fortified my troops to the territory of Southern Europe next to the orange player's biggest army, then I think the orange player would have felt irritated by me, and then I didn't really want to fortify my troops to some block place, so I thought that Iceland might be one of the most ideal places for me to fortify my troops to. But my plan to appear being mostly towards neutral side didn't really work out at all. The orange player attacked my territories in Africa and the purple player attacked my territories in Asia, at the end invading me into Europe. So it wasn't too good that it looked for me that both of them wanted to team up on me, rather than one of them with me. And at the end when my turn came I decided to attack purple over orange, as one thing the purple player attacked me much more, and then another thing was that the purple player had the most troops looking to the troops counter. But obviously it would be better to attack the player who has the turn after me rather the one who has the turn before me if possible, so with that I could force the player who has a turn after me to attack the player who has a turn before me, so with me taking that into account and with seeing that both purple and orange were still focused on attacking me, I decided to invade orange into South America, leaving my army into it, especially when it looked that the orange player wasn't making as many attacks as the purple player. So with the purple player being the player before me, I didn't want to potentially over-attack him so the game couldn't be potentially given to the orange player, so I decided to mostly go with the safe play of starting to rather start attacking orange, as after all, with the orange player being the player who has a turn after me, he would always be able to invade the purple player into his continents if needed, in order that the purple player wouldn't become too strong and the balance of the game wouldn't be broken. So obviously if not weakening the orange player way too much, as obviously I would need to stay wise about that. After I invaded the orange player into South America, leaving my army into it, I knew that both of the players could decide to make me trapped in South America using the deadliest trap strategy for the South American player against me, with the orange player leaving this army on North Africa while with the purple player bringing his army to Central America, but I didn't really expect them of actually going for it. Though it was very close, because with the orange player wiping my territories out from Asia, he fortified his army into North Africa, making the strategy half set up, though not necessarily he did that for the strategy and possibly just wanted to be prevented from me invading him into Africa, who knows. But what was the most important is that the opportunity for the purple player to go with this strategy was made, and the purple player could have really gone with it of bringing his troops to Central America, but he either missed that opportunity or didn't actually want to go for it, as he didn't bring his army to Central America, letting me escape from South America, which I obviously did by knowing what is potentially waiting for me if I don't. Then, as you saw, I decided to go with the plan of taking over North America while capturing the territories of purple. This was to potentially improve my position by trying to bring the orange player to my side. I decided to go for it because I saw that the purple player fortified his army next to orange instead of leaving his army next to me, so I knew that he saw that it could be risky for him to continue targeting me. So by predicting that the purple player isn't looking to attack me anymore, I decided to go with this North American play, of capturing North America, leaving the border against the orange player unguarded while guarding both of the other borders. And now I decided to fortify all of my troops to the Asian border, so to potentially suggest to the orange player making the purple player trapped in Asia with us only guarding the borders against him. And I'm actually very happy that the orange player went with it. The purple player breaks through one of the orange player's borders, and to be honest, that was really expected for him to do that to escape from the trap, over with him starting to manual rolling me, with me being the player who has a turn after him. As in this case, besides the orange player's borders being quite weak, at the same time the orange player was quite stronger than me, so not only it was easy for the purple player to break through orange, but also it was very affordable for the orange player to do that without risking of the balance of the game to becoming broken, as what he did by breaking through orange is evened out me and the orange player the troop-wise. With the purple player moving out from Australia, I decided to take it from him, so to potentially encouraging the orange player to highly attack the purple player. Unfortunately, the purple player isn't too weak, so I cannot take him out, but at the same time I don't think it would be wise to manual roll him either, so not to potentially make him to be worth taken out with 4 cards for orange. So what I did, by still wanting to potentially keep teaming up with orange but wanting to invade him into Europe, is taken down the 3 troops army of the purple player with along of 1 more territory in Asia before invading the orange player into Europe. But as you can see, the orange player was smart to not over-weaken the purple player to me either. And then I couldn't take the purple player out even if I thought it would be worth it, because the purple player is simply blocked from my army, but I don't think it would have been worth for me to take him out anyway. So by me as the strongest player not wanting to stalemate the game but at the same time not wanting to use my troops on manual rolling purple to not make him too weak to be taken out by orange with 5 cards, what I decided to do is to use my troops advantage on orange, so looking at the troops counter our troop numbers would go down, and without the game being that much dragged out we could sooner finish the game. Now I don't know why the purple player a moment ago in this turn and in the last turn when I was crushing orange said good game, but maybe that's because he wants that the orange player would stop attacking him, because he thinks that the orange player could potentially give away the game for me. At least this would be my guess. And now by making his own move, I think the purple player wants to encourage orange to attack me, or maybe he simply attacked me because I was the strongest player. Or I would guess that most likely these were both of the reasons. In this turn I wanted to try properly guarding Africa against orange but realized that it wouldn't be enough troops. Also I wanted to see if I don't invade the purple player into North America if the orange player invades him by himself, as after he is the last person who could invade purple with the purple player's turn being after him, though as long as the purple player holding North America wouldn't break the balance of the game, it was really up to the orange player if he wants to do so, which he didn't, but at the same time he didn't fortify his South American army next to me, letting me hold Africa while capturing Europe. So now I decided to see what happens if I intend to weaken purple by doing a few manual rolls on him and by letting the orange player hold Europe, whether the orange player would team up with me on the purple player again or not, because I do not really know what would be better to do anyway, as it seems that all 3 of us in very weird but at the same time vulnerable spots. It would be the most ideal for me right now if the orange player did a lot of manual rolls on the purple player, highly weakening him, and then that the purple player wouldn't have a set at 4 cards, as then it could potentially give away me the game. But alright, neither of that happened, and it would have needed the both in order for that to work out anyway. The purple player in his turn didn't attack neither of us, and the orange player fortified his army next to me, and I mean that's fair because I had my army next to him also. But I wasn't really sure what to do, and I thought it would be a bit too much for the orange player to hold Europe, so I decided to invade him into it, and then I moved out my army from North Africa so the orange player could invade me into Africa. As what I realized is that all three of us know to not break the balance of the game into another player's favor and not to weaken another player too much. So not sure how we will overcome that, but I think in this case it would be the best to seek attacking each other quite more. And I really like that the purple player has captured a bunch of these territories. With him leaving his army next to orange, I think he might intend to team up with me on him. So I think that's really worth a shot on that, and I'm really wondering to see if we actually manage to trap the orange player into South America. I think that would be awesome. Let's see what the orange player decides to do with him trading in a set. I think for him to keep his biggest army in South America while me and the purple player could potentially trap him into it, would be a mistake for him. The orange player invades me into Australia, which I really like because I was stronger than the purple player, so that helps us out to be more in a mutually beneficial alliance, as besides that I had captured North America also while the purple player didn't have any continent at all. So with that I really like that the orange player invaded me into Australia and took over it, because in this situation when the purple player intends to be allies with me, I will rather prefer North American position rather than the Australian one. As with that we might be able to trap the orange player into Australia with me taking over both of the Americas and guarding the Asian border, and with the purple player taking over Africa and Europe with him having his armies on Middle East and Ukraine. And to be honest, the purple player could have captured Africa with Europe before me taking both of the Americas. That would have been the most ideal way to set up the deadliest trap strategy for the orange player, but with the orange player's army being unleashed towards purple, I understand why the purple player might not necessarily wanted to do that, because he could have thought that the orange player might have gone through one of his armies and with that potentially breaking the balance of the game. So it's obviously better be safe for the purple player than sorry if expecting that the orange player could make a move which would give away the game for me. Anyway, as you saw, the orange player, with him seeing that we are preparing to set the strategy up, invaded the purple player, and he only invaded purple while letting me hold both of the Americas, so the purple player would be forced to invade me, and our strong alliance wouldn't work out anymore. And he achieved that, as the purple player invaded me. And obviously it was very smart for the purple player to do that so not to risk of me becoming too strong. Then he randomly fortified his army into a blocked place, and with that I decided that I might rather attack him, so that could possibly encourage the orange player to team up with me also. I didn't actually intend to invade the purple player into Europe, so the orange player would possibly do it if wanting to team up with me, but as you saw, the 3 versus 2 blitz roll on Ukraine surprisingly was successful, which I didn't really like because it blocked my way from accessing orange, but with the orange player attacking the territories of purple, he made the access to him once again. The purple player captured some of the orange player's territories back. And now with my turn coming and with me looking at the stats counter at the right, I'm wondering if I should take the orange player out with him even having 5 cards. With me being at 3 cards it would let me trade in even 2 sets at once with me having even 8 cards in total after taking the orange player out. And then I would be supposed to get the attacker's advantage on orange. So I think I will go for orange with rather immediately trading in my set so for the better attacker's advantage. And that's awesome. I lost even 8 troops fewer than the orange player while crushing his biggest army, which is very awesome news for me because with me having my army left as big as the purple player's one and trading in a set from the orange player's cards to get some more troops for the purple player's territories, I think I really won the game. To be honest, I'm not sure why I went with my whole army in Australia rather than doing the troop split, so I would have captured even more territories of the purple player, or might even crushed his whole army, or at the very least doing some manual rolls on it, but I think it doesn't really matter because the advantage clearly belongs to me. especially with the purple player not even invading me into Australia, and then with his army not capturing as many territories as possible, letting me get some extra troops for them also, so not sure what prevented him from doing, as my army was not blocked anyway. So unless the purple player wanted to do what he did to make it unlikely with my army's position to finish him a single turn, but even with him surviving for one more turn it doesn't make his situation be any more promising, even with me not having a set at 4 cards, so that's a GG. Now I would recommend watching another 4-player fixed card game with a lot of strategy which was played with another decent players as well. That's a good one, so make sure to check it out as well.